Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I will be testing out, let's see, what will I be testing out? Today I will be testing out the Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse Poreless Perfection Foundation. So Maybelline's what, are we gonna do this? Come on, honey. Always when I'm filming, he wants to play. On the couch, honey. So the Maybelline website has listed the benefits as achieve the look of complete poreless skin with perfected airbrush finish. Lightweight and breathable, this 8-hour liquid foundation delivers cake-free medium coverage that moisturizes all day. Dermatologist tested, allergy tested, non-comedogenic. Not sure what that means, but it sounds okay. Ideal for normal skin, suitable for sensitive skin. Okie dokie, interesting. It comes in 12 shades. That's all it says. It just says achieve the look of complete poreless skin with perfected airbrush finish. It's either people love it or they hate it. There's 11 reviews, 3 of which are not good, 5 of which are good. Somebody had a sensitive skin reaction. Somebody says it comes off easily and looks cakey. And another one says it's the worst foundation ever. It doesn't blend, it oxidized into this strange orange color after a couple of hours and broke out on my skin, which never happens because my skin is really dry. That makes me nervous because I also have dry skin. I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn me orange and hopefully it doesn't break me out. So if you want to know what I think of the Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse Foundation, don't go anywhere, you're in the right place. So I'm going to try something a little different this morning. Normally I'd be filming in my bathroom, but the lighting in there isn't the greatest, and I have basically a whole wall in my living room that is window. So I'm going to try and take advantage of the natural light and see how this goes. So this is the Maybelline Liquid Mousse Poreless Perfection, and I have it in the shade Sandy Beige. It looks like a match, but we'll see. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to do this half of my face with the sponge and this half with the brush. And in this case, I am using the CC Plus Skin Perfecting Brush, which is number 702 from IT Cosmetics. Come on. We could be here a while. Oh, it's very, very runny. So, yeah, it's not, see, it's running down my hand. All right, how are we looking here? How are we looking here? I don't know. I can't help but think that most of this foundation is getting sucked into the sponge. There's just, yeah, I mean, there's just not much as far as coverage going on here. I mean, it's very lightweight, but there's not a whole lot as far as coverage going on. I mean, the shade is not bad. This is the shade, this is the half that's done so far. This is my bare skin. So overall, the shade match is pretty good. It's just there's not a whole heck of a lot as far as coverage going on here. No, not much at all. Okay, I'm gonna go in and do the other half with the brush and see what happens. I can try and give this a shake. Maybe it's just been sitting in the bottle a little too long. No, well, I don't know. Maybe the shake helped. It seems to not be as runny now. Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to try the other half with the brush. We'll see how it goes. It seems to be applying much better with the brush. I mean, maybe it was just because I didn't shake the bottle. I don't know, but it just seems like I have nothing on this side of my face. And whereas on the other side with the brush, it looks to be about medium coverage. So I think I'm going to finish off the rest of my face with the brush. I mean, the side that I did with the brush, I'm actually quite pleased with how it looks. Yeah, it's sitting really nicely on my skin. My skin doesn't look dry. There's no texture showing. There's no creasing or cracking around my eyes. There's no polka dot pores around my nose. The colors blended really well. Yeah, so far I'm quite pleased with how it looks. I'm hoping there's no, hold on. Yeah, there's no SPF in this one, so we will see if it oxidizes. So, yeah, we will see. All right, I'm gonna finish this off with the brush and we'll see how it looks. Why is it I am a child when it comes to putting foundation on? I can never ever get it on my face without like putting it all over my lips. I don't know why that is. Boy, that was really attractive. Okay. All right, it looks like the foundation has oxidized a little, but it's not like bright flaming orange oxidization. Hopefully it doesn't get any more darker than it is. So far, I'm really liking this one. I love how it's sitting on my skin. It's not accentuating any texture, especially my forehead area. It's nice and smooth. I don't know, it's blending very, very nice with my skin. I'm debating whether or not to set this one with a powder. I think I might leave it this time. It is definitely not a matte finish. This is definitely more of like a dewy, satiny type finish, but it definitely doesn't look greasy or shiny. It blended really well on my face. I don't see any pores showing up on my nose or throughout here. There's a little bit of settling into fine lines I just noticed as I got up close, but I have to get really up close and it's not too obvious. I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer on and maybe that'll help. So far, I'm quite pleased with how this is looking. This is definitely, it didn't apply well. It didn't apply well with the sponge at all, but I also didn't shake it before applying it. As soon as I gave the bottle a good shake, the consistency of the foundation just thickened right up. So I can't say for sure that the brush applied better than the sponge, because when I applied it with the sponge, it was before I shook the bottle. However, I would have to say that this is probably medium coverage at best, even with the brush. I can still see some freckles coming through there, and there's a little bit of melasma coming through here, but I'm gonna try and use a little bit of concealer to touch that up, and a little bit of discoloration on my forehead that's coming through. But overall, this is a really nice, smooth foundation. I'm not 100% sold on the color, because it did darken a little bit, but it's not bad. If I were to purchase this again, I would probably go down a shade, but so far I am quite pleased with how this is looking. So I am gonna go put the rest of my makeup on and I will be right back. The time check is 9:52. So far, quite honestly, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, so far, the finish is still really nice. I did decide to put a little bit of setting powder on my face after I had previously decided not to, and it didn't react badly to the powder. My skin is not looking dry, which is good. What I see, there's no settling into fine lines, which I'm happy with. The color, it did oxidize a little. I'm hoping it doesn't get any darker than this, but we'll see. To compensate for the color, I did put a little bit of the butter bronzer on my neck to try and make the color look consistent, so I wasn't walking around with a great big line going around my neck. Because the finish is so nice and my skin doesn't look dry or it doesn't look textured anywhere and there's no settling into fine lines, I'm okay with the bronzy color for now, as long as it doesn't get any darker than this. We'll see. we'll see what happens, guys. So yeah, I will check in with you guys in 5 hours and let you know how this foundation is holding up. So the time check is 2:54. The foundation has been on my face for 5 hours now. So far, it is holding up pretty well. So I'm gonna start with what I like first before I move on to what I'm not too crazy about. Okay, I love the finish. It is beautiful on my skin. It is so my forehead and my cheeks look so smooth that it really doesn't look like, other than that, it really doesn't look like makeup, which is good. My skin isn't dry, which is amazing. I don't have any cakiness. There's nothing settling into lines. Overall, it's holding up really well. There's nothing breaking up. There's nothing settling into fine lines. There's nothing highlighting any dry patches. Now, what I'm not crazy about is the color. Once again, I have a foundation that has oxidized, and I don't know what's causing it in this case. There's no SPF in the foundation, and I did not wear a moisturizer with an SPF in it today. So, you can see right around here, that's my natural color. That's where the foundation starts and ends. I like the shade once it went on my skin, but I'm not too crazy about the color now. The upside of this is because everything else works, like the texture, there's no texture, there's no dryness, it's lying smooth on my skin, that I'm hoping once I don't know, I'm looking at myself in natural light and it looks like I have jaundice or something. I don't know. It's an awful thing to say, but I look pumpkin orange. It's just, I don't know what's going on with these foundations. Because everything else about this foundation is amazing, I'm hoping that I can find something else in their shade selection that works for me. Right now the shade is just not working. It's too orange. It's not even a bronzy color. It's almost, I don't know, some yellow in there and everything too. It's not an attractive color because there's no dryness, because there's no texture showing, because it's lying flat on my skin. I'm really, really, really hoping that within their shade selection that there is something that could potentially work for me. I don't want to hold out too much hope because they had such a limited shade selection. I think there was only 12 shades available. So that is my 5-hour check-in so far. I will check in with you guys later on before bed and let you know how this foundation has held up the rest of the day. So the time check is 8:07. The foundation has been on my face for 10 hours now. This foundation has been interesting for me to try because I initially really liked it. I liked the coverage, I liked the finish, I loved that there was no texture on my face. I thought this was going to be one that I would continue to use long after this test was finished. And unfortunately, I no longer think that's the case. So let's start with what I still like about this foundation. So my skin is still smooth. There's no texture on my forehead or along my cheeks or along my chin. There is nothing settling in fine lines or no fine lines being accentuated on my forehead or around my mouth. But those are pretty much the only things I like about this foundation. Right around my chin area here has started to get really dry. It's a little bit of breakup around my nose area here, and if you can't really see it in this light, but the sides of my nose is very odd. Right down the bridge of my nose, it's very, very shiny. Those things I could possibly get past if it wasn't for one huge thing. The color is awful. It is awful. Oh my gosh. You can't really tell in this light how orange I am. This foundation has done nothing but get darker and darker and darker throughout the day. I would recommend that if you are thinking about purchasing this foundation, you might want to try a shade or two lighter than your skin tone. I'm not even sure going a shade or two lighter would work for me because this is not flattering. It's not only orange, but there's like hints of yellow in there too. Sorry, Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse Poreless Perfection Foundation. You're going to the foundation graveyard. So those are my thoughts on the Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse Foundation. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, if you did, please give it a thumbs up or consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!